So we recently got the new Boom Beach update, and I was actually gone when it launched, so I wasn't able to make any videos. But now I'm going to show you my progress. I'm going to explain something that I believe is a real game changer for literally millions of players, and then we'll also do some attacks. But mostly I just want to talk about the update because I haven't shared my thoughts yet. I think this update was really, really good. It's pretty rare that Boom Beach does something to nerf a troop. Bombardiers for the longest time have been the best troop inside of Boom Beach, no doubt. One of the best like regular troop inside of Boom Beach. And they definitely needed a nerf. And the update brought down brought to us the critter launchers, which are a new defense inside of Boom Beach. So currently, I placed all 4 of these down. So I have 2 at level 6, 1 going to level 7, and then 1 at level 1, 1 at level 2. It's getting very expensive. These are not cheap upgrades. You get them at like HQ 12, and they're way too expensive for HQ 12. So I believe in a few weeks, Boom Beach is gonna lower the cost of these upgrades, so you can wait until then. For me though, it's important that I try to get this done, so I've been upgrading them as much as I can. I think there are 12 or 14 levels of critter launchers, and if we look at some top players, you'll notice that like the leaderboard players don't have them placed. I honestly don't really know the reason behind that. I think there was a few issues after the update dropped in China where they couldn't update. So maybe these players just haven't logged in since the update dropped, because this is by far one of the biggest game changers. I would feel like the leaderboard players would be dropping down the critter cannon. So I don't really know why that hasn't happened yet, but I think it will happen once they sort this out. I don't know why my local board isn't loading. Also, this is really cool, a fun way to store decorations. I actually want to put my decorations on the beach, whereas before I didn't really care if my decorations were visible. And we also got the laser rangers. So if we look at the laser rangers quick, I have level 3 going to level 4. Also a very expensive troop to upgrade if you're a lower level. For me though, I'm just stacked on gold and iron. I'm really just needing some stone to help me with these upgrades. Okay, let's talk about the critter cannons and why it's so effective against players that use bombardiers. And let me back up a step and say it's really not just bombardiers. It's any single firing troop. So no splash troop. Splash troops, it's fine. Critter cannons aren't going to do a thing. But when you have a troop that fires a single shot, so the big ones are bombardiers and tanks, because they fire a single shot and the time between shots is pretty long. So compare that to a Zuka where they fire like every second or every 2 seconds. It's fine for those, but as soon as your time between shots increases, the critter cannons is going to be more and more effective against countering. So if I'm going to attack this base with the heavy bombardiers, we'll drop my heavies on the beach and drop my bombardiers behind. And before this update, I could just drop my troops and let them go. So this is kind of an educational video. I don't really care if I win or not. I actually kind of prefer if I lose, because I do want to boost up my resource reward in the morning to get some critter cannons done. Okay, they fire every second, and each shot will put down 1 critter, and the troops will actually target the critter. So now all of these bombardiers on the bottom are going to be targeting the critters that this 1 critter cannon is launching, which fires every second. And you'll see that I'm just getting stopped in my tracks. Unless I drop something, so shock or critters maybe, I'm not going to be able to move. And I saw someone post on Twitter that or Reddit, where 1 critter cannon stopped an entire army of bombardiers. And why it's so effective against bombardiers is because the bombardiers fire, let's just look, it's like once every 5 seconds or something. They do a lot of damage, but let's just get the stat right so I can reference it for the rest of the video. So the bombardier will fire every 2.2 seconds, which is honestly a lot faster than I thought, but it's still way too slow. Compare that to the Zuka, 2 seconds. You also have more Zuka, so that also helps counter this new defense. But if we look at the tank, 3.5, so even worse than the Bombardier, and you have less tanks. So I think tanks, it's going to be more of an issue than the Bombardiers. But anyway, the troop will target a defense, or now the critter, which gets spawned, and then it will fire a shot. It'll wait a couple seconds, fire a shot, and then it'll wait a couple seconds more. It'll see a new critter, because in that time of that one shot, 3 more would spawn up for between tank shots. So if your tanks are shooting, you'll just get like a deadlock. You won't be able to move. Your tanks will be firing. Yes, you'll have multiple tanks, but the way the tanks fire, let's load up all tanks and attack the same base to show you guys. The way the tanks fire, you're not going to be able to make any progress. They're all going to be targeting the same troop, and you're just going to get stuck on the beach. So we'll do the same thing, get my hero down, which will be helpful. Now let's get a shock out, and let's also shock the other one. I just want to get, I missed it, that's fine. I just want to get kind of close to the critter cannon so that it starts spawning critters. So what I'm getting at is the critter cannon is really the best defense against tanks and against bombardiers. 2 of the most formidable defenses. The critter cannon can target them. And actually, that was fine. Maybe it's, okay. So I have a couple theories. So I actually haven't seen tanks attacking. It can definitely be bad if your hero walks inside of the range of the critter cannon and it spawns in critters, and then your tanks target those critters. But if it looks like the range of the tanks and the range of the critter cannon are pretty much equal. So if you only have all tanks, they should walk in the range of each other, and then the critter cannon won't have time to fire before the tanks lock on. So it's going to be an issue if it starts spawning critters before your tanks lock on to the defense. And same thing for bombardiers. It's just for bombardiers, you have heavies in front of your bombardiers, which trigger the critter cannons, which spawn critters, and you're just going to get slaughtered. Now, if we compare that to, I'm not going to actually do this, but a splash troop. So if we look at all the different splash troops, like Scorchers, Laser Rangers, those are really the main ones. And I guess Bombardier or Grenadiers as well, although I don't think Grenadiers would be good at countering the critter cannon. They will just attack, and they target way less. So if we look at they don't even have damage between shots, because for Scorchers, it's continuous. You're just continually spewing flames. So the critters are not going to do anything against this combination. As for the Laser Ranger, they will do a little bit for the Laser Ranger, but the time between shots is just so low, it's really not going to do a thing. They're going to be able to walk through the base. So it's only an issue for when you have a low number of troops and the time between firing is increased. If you have all riflemen, you have 200 troops, you're going to be fine. If you have all Zookas, you're going to be fine. If you have heavy Zooka, I think you'll still be fine. But it's when you have those troops that take a while to fire and you don't have a lot, because they're all going to be targeting on the same troop. There's not going to be any difference between the time they're firing, and you're just not going to move throughout the base. It's the same concept when you clump these troops up. Like, it's really, really bad to clump up heavy bombardier on a side, because all the heavies and all the bombardiers are targeting the same few defenses. So you're wasting so much potential damage dealt to the base. That's why you want to spread out, for sure, spread out heavy bombardier. For tanks, it's a little different. You might want to be flanking the base or something, but usually you kind of want to spread them out as well. It's a very, very good defense to target some of the best troops inside of the game. I am extremely excited to see how the top players are going to be utilizing this new troop, because it's not going to look pretty for them. It's already pretty tough. It's really going to make it tough for lower level players to be able to hit higher level players now, because the gap with these defenses is going to be increased. The difficulty gap is going to be increased. So if I'm a level 35 and I'm attacking a level 48, which is doable in some cases, it's going to be even harder to do that with the 48 level player having critter cannons down. So it's going to make it a little harder for lower level players. But I hope you see this doesn't really affect warriors at all. Like, if you think about it, the warriors, you'll flare them to the core. They'll all target the core. having some critters around them is not going to do anything. It'll take out a few, but it really won't matter in the long run. So if you're still using warriors, which I believe are the best troop combination for just general Boom Beach, just going through the levels, I'm using it to clear my map now. I've used it to clear my map when I was at level 32. All warriors plus smoke is definitely the combination to go to. It's going to be probably a little bit more repetitive now, but it's still a really good combination, so definitely use that. Okay, here's the plan though for the future on this account. So I'm pausing my starting over account. I want to max out my main account. I want to push it to level 75. I want to get these defenses maxed out. I want to get the laser ranger maxed out. So I'm going to be playing on this account for the next few weeks as I'm trying to get these big upgrades done. They're very expensive, so it's going to slow down, but I do want to max these all out because I have some fun videos I want to do. And I also want to max out the Laser Ranger. I think next video I'll do one about the best troops to use with the Laser Ranger. I think that will be a good, solid video to make. But I hope you enjoyed. If this has helped you, drop a like, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye, guys.